Ryan Fallon here, and today we are talking about our healthy fats and our unhealthy bad fats. So I'm just going to kind of go through some simple ways for you to eliminate or lessen some of those unhealthy ones, and ways for you to incorporate more of the good healthy fats into your diet. So we're going to start off talking about the bad fats. Remember, you've got your trans fats and your saturated fats. If you had to list one above the other, of which one is more unhealthy, trans fats would win by a mile. There is absolutely no amount of trans fats that is healthy. So you really want to try to eliminate as much of that as possible out of your diet. So things that I'm talking about are like your commercially baked goods, like your cookies, cakes, donuts, pastries. You find them at the grocery store. They're already pre-boxed and ready for you to buy and then eat straight out of the box. Try to stay away from those as much as possible. And your fried foods, your snack foods like potato chips, candy, packaged or microwaved popcorn. If you can try to eliminate as much of those following items as possible, you'll be doing so much better. Probably better than like 95% of America. Now, should you never have a candy bar again or never have a potato chip? That's not what I'm saying. But have it in moderation. Only have it once in a while. Try to really eliminate your trans fats. Now, with your saturated fats, we really just want to try to reduce them. You're not going to completely be able to get rid of them out of your diet, but try to reduce them as much as possible. So one example would be, try to eat less red meat. And eat more fish or chicken or turkey. My wife and I, we love red meat. We always have. We used to have it probably every single day. It was just a staple in our diet. Now we've taken that down to about once a week. We have either a steak or a roast or some ground beef, but only once a week. And what we do is we try to cut out as much fat as possible off the steak or roast before we cook it. So that'll make it a much more leaner cut of meat. And also, on the ground beef, we try to rinse it off as much as possible after it's cooked to get off all that excess oil, and fat. There's no point in adding that to your diet. You might as well reduce that, the part that you can. And even on your chicken breasts, you can cut off the fat that comes on it that's around it. A lot of times you'll get a package and some of them will have that fat still on there. Cut those off before you cook it. There is no reason for you to have that on there. It really does not affect the taste at all, but it will reduce those saturated fats. Bake, broil, or grill your food instead of frying it up in the pan. And with the frying, try to use your liquid vegetable oils like olive oil or canola oil instead of your shortenings, and butter. That'll really help. With your milk and your cheese, try to choose a lower fat option, like your skim milk. You might even want to try almond milk. We drink that now all the time, and we love it. It really kind of replaces the milk that we used to drink. Or a low-fat cheese like a mozzarella. If you try to do that more often than not, that'll really help reduce your saturated fats, and it's an easy way to do that. Yes, you can definitely enjoy a full-fat dairy product every now and then. Just remember, in moderation. Avoid your creams and your cheese sauces. When you're going out to a restaurant and you get something that has cheese sauce all over it, ask for it on the side. That way you can control how much you actually get. Usually you don't need that big heaping amount that they just pour all over everything. So that'll help reduce those saturated fats as well. So now we're on to our unsaturated fats, which are our healthy fats. So here's some just easy, quick ways to incorporate more of those into your diet. One would be cook with your olive oil for your stovetop cooking. We do that whenever we cook up, some chicken, or we're sauteing some onions or some vegetables. We'll put a little bit of olive oil in there rather than your butter or margarine. And then for baking, you can try your canola oil or vegetable oil. And this next thing I've mentioned in other posts before, and that is eating more avocados. They are so good for you, and they are full of healthy fats. Try them on your salad or in a soup. You can make guacamole. You can even make like an avocado spread where you can put it on your sandwich instead of the mayonnaise. It's really good that way. And another great thing about the avocados are they are very filling. So they make for a great satisfying meal, or to add to stuff to make that meal more satisfying and make you full quicker. Um, have a couple of bags of nuts around the house. Have some almonds and walnuts. And grab a handful of those as your snack instead of a bag of potato chips. They're crunchy like a potato chip. I have a handful of nuts every single day as a snack. And what's great about them is they are filling. So you only need that small handful rather than the entire bag of chips to feel satisfied. And you can also snack on olives by themselves. Now, what's great about olives are most of your other higher fat foods that are healthy for you are higher in calories. Olives are actually lower in calories, so you can snack on those as well, and that's another good way to incorporate healthy fats into your diet. The last thing I want to address are your salad dressings. Those salad dressings at the store are just full of junk, full of fat, full of all sorts of stuff. You can get online and find some great dressings to make at home on your own. They'll cost you just about the same as if you were to buy it at the store. It doesn't take very long to make. We make quite a few of our own. We have in the past. They taste great. You're mixing up different types of oils with different types of vinegars with some seasonings and stuff, and they really are good. They're sometimes even better than the ones you get at the store. So those are just a few examples of how to incorporate some healthy fats into your diet, and a few ways to try to eliminate or reduce some of those unhealthy fats in your diet. So remember, you do not want to completely eliminate all fats from your diet. You do need some. You just need to know the difference between healthy, good fats and unhealthy, bad fats. So I hope that helped you out a little bit. Let me know if it did. So until tomorrow, adios.